Hey family, welcome to season 1, episode 7 of Danielle Inspires. Today, we're going into the kitchen to tile the backsplash. We're going to use peel and stick tiles, and I'll walk you through the process and share my successes and inventive workarounds. I know you thought I was going to say successes and failures. No, baby. As I told you in episode 1, as long as you can turn your mistakes into wins, you win. Because I make plenty of mistakes as a novice home renovator, I need innovative workaround solutions to make my mistakes look like creative twists. As with most of my renovating journey, I started on YouTube to see what other folks were doing with peel and stick tiles. I try to judge whether the process, and in this case, the tiling process, looks simple enough for me to tackle. And for me, the more I watch, the more familiar the process becomes, which then convinces me that I can do it. Honestly, the first time I watch a renovation or repair video, I feel a little intimidated about trying something new. But as I get more successes under my belt, I'm encouraged to just try. I like having the confidence to just try. It feels good to believe in myself enough to just go for it. After viewing a few videos, I knew I needed to try using the peel and stick tile for my kitchen backsplash. I went to Lowe's to look at samples, and let me tell you, the selection was unimpressive and the prices were astronomical. I mean, stupid prices for mediocre products. Yuck. My next move was to shop online, my fave. And at the end of the day, I landed at my usual spot, Amazon.com. Yo, Jeff Bezos, you making a whole lot of loot off of me. But one day I'll figure out how to flip the script and maybe I can make some mad loot off of him. Anywho, I decided to add a backsplash, but that was before deciding to add a German smeared focal wall in my kitchen. I ended up doing the focal wall first before tiling. So then I had to think about which tiles work best with the focal walls and everything else going on in my kitchen. Moreover, I plan to eventually redo the flooring for my entire downstairs space. I've already done some shopping around for flooring just to get an idea of what I like and what could bring the entire space together. I thought about using white subway tiles with white grout, and while shopping around for the peel and stick subway tiles, I happened upon some tiles that took my breath away. I was in love, but those tiles were twice as much as the subway tiles. Since I plan on moving out of this property and renting it to tenants, I thought, well, is it really worth the money? And you won't be here anyway. I decided to order a sample of the subway tiles. I taped them up on the wall, and no matter how many times how many I put up there, because I started with one and I'm like, sort of, and I just kept taping more, trying to convince myself that this was going to work. But there was just no excitement over the vision that was before me. Nevertheless, I tried to convince myself, so I gave myself like one day just to let it sit there. And I came down in the morning and I looked at them, and I'm kind of still arguing with myself. I'm like, Danielle, you won't be here anyway. Save yourself some money. Tenants end up jacking up your house anyway, so on and so forth. But when I came downstairs and I looked at them on the wall, I'm like, I don't like this. Bleep. I pulled the tiles down. I filed my refund with Amazon. Yo, Jeff, give me my money back. I returned the merchandise and then ordered a sample of the tiles I really wanted. Before the sample even arrived, I measured the backsplash area and ordered enough to complete the job. That's how convinced I was. I didn't even wait for the samples to arrive. My soul said, yes, I'm stepping up and not settling. So all the towels arrived at the same time and the love fest began. It's just, is it just me, or do y'all understand what it's like to know that you know that you know and then receive confirmation that you were right? My confirmation came when I opened the box of tiles. It was love at first, second, third sight. I could have settled, and I had many reasons to justify buying the subway tiles. What's funny is that no matter how many excuses I told myself, I still couldn't force myself to fall in love with the subway tiles. I didn't hate the look. I just wasn't feeling it. Now, if I had forced myself to suppress my true heart's desire, I would have walked into my kitchen every day knowing that I made the wrong choice. I guess it's like our choices mirror back to us either compromise or beauty. Compromise isn't ugly. It's just not what we really want. While beauty is a true reflection of our unfettered soul living in its bliss. There's something to seeing yourself in your sanctuary. That's what you get from creating authentic spaces. You're repairing, renovating, and updating your home to reveal its potential while simultaneously revealing the beauty inside of you. So if your home is a mirror to your soul, and I believe in many ways it is, then ask yourself if you want to see compromise as you walk from room to room, or do you want to see beauty? Every time I walk into my kitchen, I marvel. I touch the focal wall, I touch the tiles, and in that regard, I touch my own soul. I feel encouraged by what I've created. I've always loved my house from the first day, but putting my fingerprint on the design took my house to the next level. We have the option before us to step up or settle. And perhaps if we looked at life, the life choices before us using that framework, the answer would seem more obvious. If I had simply asked myself, Danielle, are the subway tiles a step up? The answer would have been a resounding no. I should have asked myself that question before I got married. And the answer would have been hell no. But there was a bird in the hand, and my biological clock was ticking. In the end, I have 14 years of misery, 14 freaking years of hell. My marriage was and remains the worst decision of my life. But God will give you beauty for ashes. My son is the beauty that emerged from my ashes. And next to God, he is the best thing in my life. I'm happy about the relationship I have now with his father, and I enjoy co-parenting with him. He, for better or worse, is still my family, and I will always honor him as the father of my child. Yet my failed marriage serves as a reminder to me of the high price of compromise. So read my lips, do not settle. Step up instead. The call of God upon your life is to come up higher. No matter how far up you travel, something inside of you will want more and more and more. Don't fight it. Don't excuse it away. That hunger is from God, and it's there to keep you from settling. Now, that's your inspirational message for today. So let's get back to peel and stick tiling. This is the gorgeous, yummy towel I selected. I have a small galley kitchen, and I didn't want a towel that was like too busy or with like high contrast colors that would dominate the overall aesthetics of the kitchen. So for me, the beauty in this tile is in its simplicity. And I really like the pops of the silver, which gives it a lot of pizzazz. But it doesn't detract from other aspects of my kitchen decor. The product is a peel and stick PVC tile. You get 5 sheets per package, which covers 4.92 square feet of wall space. No grout is required. This product has a natural stone and metal design, which has more texture and gradation than the Subway tiles I initially tried. The tile is lightweight, having a thickness of 4.2 millimeters and a strong 3M adhesive back. So this is a quality product, and the price is reasonable at $35 per package of 5 sheets. My tools and supplies included a 12-inch titanium paper trimmer, 15-inch guillotine paper cutter, a utility knife, a L-shaped ruler, level, lightweight spackle, stainless steel outlet and switch plates, and a cordless screwdriver. I removed all the outlet wall plates. I cleaned the wall. You can wash the surface with a powerful grease remover like TSP. I use bleach since that's my go-to cleaning agent and degreaser. Make sure you allow enough time for the surface to dry properly. I used a level to be sure I was starting with a level surface all the way across the wall. I started low and to the right, applying the tile. The best practice is to fold back half the protective paper in the back without touching the adhesive portion with your fingers, and align the adhesive portion with your guideline and apply pressure to adhere it to the wall. When it was time to make a cut, I measured with a ruler and reported it on the tile. I used the 12-inch titanium paper trimmer, but I couldn't make all the cuts I needed because the sheet of tile only fit horizontally and not vertically, which meant I needed to use my utility knife and the straight edge of the ruler to make cuts. The tile is thick and difficult to cut until you get the hang of it. The other issue I ran into was that the cutting guide for the paper trimmer is plastic and will give way as you make your cuts. So some of your cuts might not be straight if you use this. I tiled the entire backsplash of this wall using the 12-inch paper trimmer and a utility knife. But I searched for a better option afterwards for the opposite wall. The better option was the 15-inch guillotine paper cutter. This paper cutter has 2 mechanisms to keep the tile in place: the automatic clamp and the adjustable backstop. Even with these 2 preventative mechanisms, the tile sheet still shifted and required human pressure to stay in place. The 3M on the back of the tile is really sticky and difficult to remove once applied. I installed some tiles that weren't tightly flushed against each other, which isn't a big deal, but in those spots, you would see dark gray PVC composite. I used lightweight spackle to cover the gray gaps, making the installation look more seamless. I also used lightweight spackle if there was a small gap between the walls and the tiles. As a novice home renovator, I'm not shooting for perfection. My goal is progress, and I'm making good progress. What do you think? Hit me up in chat, by instant message, or email and let me know. I want to conclude this episode picking back up on the inspirational message about stepping up versus settling. And I want to use a historical account from the book of Exodus as a reference. After the children of Israel's exodus from Egypt, God led them to Mount Sinai. On Mount Sinai is where God gave Moses the 10 Commandments twice. Mount Sinai is considered the earthly throne of God. Let me read for you what happened when God descended from heaven and sat upon his earthly throne to give Moses the 10 Commandments the first time. Exodus 19, starting from verse 16 reads, "On the morning of the third day there was thunder and lightning, with a thick cloud over the mountain, and a very loud trumpet blast. Everyone in the camp trembled. Then Moses led the people out of the camp to meet with God, and they stood at the foot of the mountain. Mount Sinai was covered with smoke because God descended on it in fire. The smoke billowed up from it like smoke from a furnace, and the whole mountain trembled violently. As the sound of the trumpet grew louder and louder, Moses spoke, and the voice of God answered him. The Lord descended to the top of Mount Sinai and called Moses to the top of the mountain. Make no mistake, God is calling all of us to the top of the mountain. Your ability to ascend up instead of loitering at the foot of the mountain is dependent upon the degree of compromise in your life. The only reason God's children settle for less is because they doubt God's ability and or willingness to make good on his promises. We try to act like our decisions have no implication on how we perceive God, when in reality, everything we say and do directly relates to what we believe to be true about God. If you truly believe God's got your back, then you would pursue your goals more vigorously. You'd call everything contradicting his word a bald-faced lie, and you wouldn't give worry, doubt, nor fear place in your life. I don't mean you wouldn't feel worry or experience fear. I mean you would resist the temptation to submit to your emotions and choose to walk in faith instead. Faith says God can't lie. Faith says, won't he do it for me if he did it for you? Faith says, without the money, without support of my family and friends, without a car, without knowing how he's going to do it, God is faithful to do what he said he would do, and I shall not be moved by those lying set of circumstances. God's will shall prevail against all odds. So stack the odds against me if you must. Lie on me if you will. I will believe the word of the Lord above all other voices, above my own doubts, above my own worries, above my own fears. God has the final say. God has the final authority in my life, come hell or high water. So my final word to you is to step up. By stepping up, you will step out of mediocrity. You will step out of lack. You will step out of limiting beliefs and every bald-faced lie of the enemy. Do not settle at the bottom of the mountain. Go up like Moses did. Ascend to the hill of the Lord. Come boldly before the throne of grace and find help, the help you need to build the physical representation of your dreams. You can do it. And once again, it has been my pleasure to breathe life into you. Take this breath and run the race set before you. Until next time, be bold, be great, and be inspired. I'll see you next week. Thank you so much for joining me today on Danielle Inspires. If you haven't done so already, please like this video, subscribe to my channel, and hit the alert bell so that you are aware of new content as it is being released. I'd love to hear from you as we take this journey together. Give me a shout out in chat and join me here next week for more inspiration to fuel your transformation on Danielle Inspires.